Ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Welcome, thresholders, to Shapeshifters Werewolves Tarot. Werewolves, Shapeshifters Tarot. Speaking of mistakes, in the first transmission from the safe house, I mentioned you're forming your cackle of crows, or your cackle. But as you may be aware, Wednesday Season 2 came out and graciously corrected me. It is a murder of crows. I don't know where I got cackle from. Sounded right? It's a cackle. Okay, so today we're going to look at a deeper dive into the knowledge of good and evil and what it means to have feelers or tentacles that stem from both good and evil, what good and evil actually are, what they mean, and what it means to have feelers that extend in both directions. The first card we pulled out is Change, Capri, card 18, and it has the dung beetle rolling the sun across the sky. It has a heart with its vessels holding up the seat of the throne of Monsieur King Dung Beetle, and showing us that the knowledge of good and evil is understanding that with the end of life, even after it is fully been devoured, it is dead, digested, and defecated from what once was living, new life is rolled into it. So the dung beetle will then take the piece of poop, roll it into a ball, bring it home, lay its eggs in it, and from the death of one living being comes the life emerges from its death. Its body, the body of death, is used to bring forth new life. And you won't have just one or the other. Eternal life, eternal death, they coincide. They go round and round with each other. Knowing this, that your shape, your form is in constant motion, constant change, and it always has been and always will be, brings you to the status of a godhead, to where you can start to use the knowledge to build your structures of freedom, to create change in your life, desired change, it's kind of like raising the dead, because you raise life from the dead. The dung beetle is raising new life from the carcass of death. And you can do the same. If you need a death to raise life from, you can let go of old ways of being. You can let them die, take what you learned from them, and grow something new out of them. You can plant the seeds of what your new life is, what you want to grow, what you want to raise, from that fertile soil of what you released. Figuratively and literally, especially should understand this if you are a gardener. The second card we have is Pata, like Utah, but with a P, and skill 15, and it shows that harnessing the knowledge of good and evil brings you skill to build forward or backwards, up or down, any way you want to go. You can create structures in any way, and it is in harmony and partnership with the knowledge of both good and evil, duality of nature, the white and the black, the yin and the yang, the ending and the beginning, fear and the love. Everything has opposite ends. So it seems like a paradox, but really they're one and the same. It's a partnership. You can't have one without the other, the masculine and the feminine. And you don't really have to call it good and evil. Those are just terms that have been used, I think, to control the knowledge so that you would only use or study or base your life in a lopsided way so that you're easier to control. And to come out of that control, you embrace both the light and the dark, the masculine and the feminine inside of you. You bring them together and you can build anything you want to build. If you honor the light and the dark, the living and the dead, the good and the evil, you have infinite knowledge from your ancestors. That is your inheritance. Infinite knowledge from the beginning of existence, the end of existence, as it just loops round and round and round, spirals up, spirals down. It is perhaps more than logical words can allow you to comprehend, but you can feel it in a quiet meditation. Sometimes feeling is remembering, and feeling is knowledge. You can grasp concepts going within then easier than you can reading about them. Card 4 is Newt, or Nut. It's understanding, and having the knowledge of good and evil gives you a complete, wholesome understanding of all of creation. Creation can't happen without death. Death can't happen without life. It is a complete, wholesome understanding of everything under the stars and beyond the stars, from this universe and beyond the filament of this universe. Here on Earth we might have a dung beetle carrying the sun, which is our inner light, our conscious awareness. Outside of this universe and the dimensions of this universe, we might have a far-seeing falcon carrying the sun, just another higher awareness, perhaps one that doesn't crawl on the earth but sails through emotions to get to other dimensions. Water is a great way to view or travel to these other dimensions. I think beings like the plesiosaurus or Nessie master this, and ancestors like Vikings. They not assimilated, they copied the motions and were able to build structures and explore in this physical world. This is another message that understanding the principles of creation, of understanding how the masculine and the feminine work together, will create the mix of those energies, will help you to imagine and create and travel to or build any structures or dimensions of freedom that you wish to have. Card 4, 1, Ra, enlightening, is what happens when you use the knowledge of good and evil together. You aren't denying one for the other. You're no longer in a binary type of thinking where you have fused together things into wholeness. So your consciousness is expanded to include both things. So both things are in one consciousness. And you can blaze new trails that way. You'll have clear sailing across waters of emotion, which is also another way of remembering and knowing. And they won't drown you out. You won't be lost in storms. You'll be able to see what you need to see to stay protected. Your sight, your vision, your consciousness is protection. And you're no longer confined to this dimension, to this universe. You're free to travel, to explore, and to know. All. And so to clarify the first two oracle cards, we've asked, what does nature need to know about the knowledge of good and evil to create freedom? What cards can we have to clarify change and skill? And the two cards that came out together were Queen of Cups and King of Staves. And I'm pretty blown away by this. So we have the ultimate feminine energy on one side and the ultimate masculine energy on the other side, showing really clearly how the knowledge of good and evil was twisted a bit. Instead of being the masculine and feminine, or, well, I suppose good and evil still works. The point is, it's the polarity, the paradox of an idea. And your roots, your tentacles, your psychic feelers can go in both directions. So you can bring back the knowledge of good and evil to its core, into yourself, to integrate it, to make it as one. And that's how you create. When you have the masculine and the feminine energy, as we discussed in another reading, it is how you create the mother, the father, and the holy child. So we have the Queen of Cups to clarify change, the death, the dung beetle, who uses death. So death, earth, fertile soil, fertility, a cave, a hole, receptive, destruction that brings life. Everything feminine. And this is exciting because I just made a glossary video. I haven't sent it out yet, it's in the works, but the glossary terms, or the terminology, we're using feminine and masculine. And I was really trying to support the idea of feminine and masculine not being attached to gender, because I'm supporting the idea that we have both feminine and masculine in us, and that it takes both feminine and masculine to create. This is going a little bit deeper into the polarity of feminine and masculine. It's just going into the polarity of everything. So it's using an understanding of everything to create with. If you have an understanding, an extreme understanding of love, an extreme understanding of fear, which I would say are one and the same. Maybe you could say hate, love and hate, but it seems to me like hate stems from fear. So if you understand fear and you understand love, then you have an understanding of how to deal with any and every situation that you come across, any and every person that you come across, which can create freedom, because then you're not hating someone, and you're also not excusing someone, and you're not people pleasing, and you're not fearing. So under skill, we have the King of Staves, which is what you do with this feminine energy is you plant your seed in it. You say, this is what I want to grow. You direct your energy or your fire or your passion or your purpose in which to build. You have the power to build. Your feminine nature has the power to receive that and to integrate it, to nourish it and protect it. Your fire is a light. It is like consciousness. It takes it, it directs it, it plants it in the black hole of chaos, the void, the unknown, and trusts that the unknown is going to take care of it. You have the faith to know that what you want, the seeds you plant, are planted in fertile soil. The unknown is fertile soil. The unknown is death, it's change, and that's where the rebirth comes from. That's where you conjure things from the dead. You raise life. For the next two clarifying cards, we have Princess of Staves, Brunhilde, for understanding, and Contemplation, Eloise, for enlightening. And what it looks like in this card is Brunhilde is riding a mare, but she has her staff, or her stave, her stavy, pointing forward from the unicorn. So from the mare, it looks like a unicorn to me. This card always does. And she's carrying the sun as a shield on her belt. So understanding allows you to take off in consciousness, to travel interdimensionally. Being able to take the opposing ideas and bring them together as one, like a unicorn's horn is one, allows you to be a shapeshifter. So traveling between two different timelines, or two different dimensions, through the fire with the consciousness. Using this understanding is what keeps you saddled on the unicorn. This gives very Valkyrie-esque energy. So having that understanding allows you to bring the dead back to life, in a sense that you are taking them from the battlefield and elevating them to Valhalla or heaven, to a higher stance, to give what you've learned, what you've transgressed, what maybe even given up big chunks of your when it felt like you've died, or given up pieces of your soul, or lost. You didn't, you just sacrificed yourself for a greater understanding. So take those L's and make them W's. Can hear my kids going, Mom. Just what I said though, taking your losses and transforming them into wins, elevating yourself with that higher understanding and knowledge that it wasn't evil, it wasn't bad, it didn't hurt you. That was only part of it. And when you mix that part with the other half of it, that it was good, that it helped you, then you create something. You create a structure of freedom. You go and you party in Valhalla. And with contemplation, to clarify, enlightening. So when you have that awareness, and you can sail now to the other dimensions or timelines, past, present, future, whatever, you have the ability to create with that awareness. So the emotions you're writing on, you can transform into artwork. You can express these things through artwork. In the picture this man is painting, there is a cello or a very large violin in the background. There is the mountains of his travel, which seem to be inspiring his painting. So again, your contemplation, your enlightenment, your awareness, you can narrow that down into a creation and express it through art or through your emotions, or let your emotion and your art be part of the journey. The expression of your awareness is part of the journey, is part of what you're sharing and what you're creating with that enlightenment. You know, you have the consciousness, and to move you through space and time. Otherwise, you're just like infinite consciousness. You're everywhere and everything, and that's just it. It's almost, it's static at that point. So there has to be movement. And so you take that consciousness and you create with it. That's the expansion of life. That's the expansion of consciousness. It goes infinitely inward, infinitely out, and in all directions. It's constantly moving, and so it is with your creations. And again, you have your coat of arms with you. So into this contemplation is everything that you've ever witnessed, everything your ancestors and your lineage has ever witnessed, everything that God, time, space, the universe has ever witnessed, experienced, known, can come through you, come through your art. You can contemplate it, and then you can move and integrate it and create with it. So a lot of this is creating structures of freedom, creating through polar opposites, using your masculine and feminine side, and making sure you don't get stuck in black or white thinking. So you take the binary into yourself to create, for it to emerge into one being, the holy child, the new creation, the light, the expansion, the expression of you, your structures of freedom. So you're no longer trapped in a cage of white thinking. You're no longer trapped in a cage of just black thinking. Now you have an understanding that both mix together to create and expand, and you're no longer trapped. You can keep moving in any direction, create anything you like. Shall we see what's on the bottom of the deck to end this reading? The 8 of Arrows. And this person doesn't say who he is, but he is crying on the beach. He's got the arrows all around him. They've all missed him. They've all struck into these rocks, but the energy that was all going one way has torn the tapestry of his ancestors' knowledge to ribbons. Oh, it's a girl, maybe, crying. Well, whatever this person is, crying, laying on this tapestry that has been shredded to ribbons. There's holes in it. The reason there's holes in it is because all this energy was just pointing in one direction, and it ripped open holes. So to prevent this, to patch the tapestry, we have to allow energy to flow in both directions. It's no longer black or white thinking, right? If you want to create freedom, you have to accept that there are paradoxes that exist because there are two ends to one thing. And if you understand the one thing, it becomes whole. That knowledge is whole inside of you. Your consciousness expands. And you create the structures of freedom. Thank you for joining me here at Werewolves Shapeshifter Tarot. I love you, and here's to your freedom creations. Ow!